there's some people that say he never got out of Bishop character.
Right.
Do you see any reflection of that?
You know, Pac was a lot of things. You know what I mean? He was a lot of things. And I think where they get him, where he's misunderstood is he just was a loyal dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he was a loyal to a lot of people who didn't deserve that loyalty.
Boys Neighborhood, beautiful day in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. It's all legendary up in here. As E40 said, veteran and relevant at the same damn time.
Come on.
Richie Rich, welcome to the neighborhood, brother.
Hey, man, thank you, man.
Hey, man, we here, huh?
Yes, come on, man.
Come on, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm hanging like wallpaper, sticking like glue.
We're in the business, man, where you're here today, gone tonight.
Right.
You know, and our genres, sometimes they're fickle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we gotta hold on to the legends that's extremely relevant and just legendary at the same time.
Right.
You know, so early on, man, what got you in to this game? Because you're a blueprint.
You know what's crazy? I didn't intend to be a rapper. That's nothing that I was striving to be. My brother was he's 10 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So Sugar Hill Gang, the Message was the first record that I had ever heard.
Right.
That he used to play
Sugar
all the
Hill,
time.
Rapper's Delight.
I'm Rapper's
Message
Delight.
is Melly Mel and Furious 5. Grandmaster Flash.
Rapper's Delight. Thank you for the correction.
No worries.
So my brother used to play that record a lot, and then he forced me to learn the words to it. He's like, see if you can memorize all the words. And then I kind of just started free. A named Mike. He used to beatbox. He was a lot younger than me. And he used to do these beatboxes, and we'd be riding around in the car. I didn't have a car, but we had this chick named Liza who used to come pick us up. And we would drive around the city, and I would freestyle off of just stuff that I saw, license plates. And
how old are you around that time?
I had to be about probably 17.
Gotcha.
17. So, you know, the West Coast didn't have hip-hop at that time. So I didn't have no influences, but I didn't plan to be a rapper. Fast forward to 1989, I think it was, and we dropped that record, 415. Yeah, and that was my first intro into the music.
You know what's wild about that, man, is that with 415, you guys dropped when, you know, there was some, you know, West Coast attention.
Right.
But a lot of attention wasn't from the Bay. There were certain things that popped in LA.
Right.
But we weren't like the ones where it was like, oh man, we in here.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we was trying to get it.
So was it more for regional? Like when you say 415, that's very territorial. You know what I'm saying? And even with people like Short, it was like, man, I just sold it out the trunk. I heard it in the neighborhood.
So when I did 415 Big Boy, I was selling music to Oakland.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's all I was.
Yeah, man.
I was selling just to Oakland. I didn't think about, I mean, my mind wasn't like, San Francisco was 20 minutes away. I wasn't even thinking that far. It was like, we selling this to the homies in the neighborhood. It was regional.
Yeah, man, extremely.
The record traveled with people who went away to college.
Right.
And they take the record.
It came to us.
Some of them came down here. Some went to Atlanta. And they took these tapes with them. And it kind of spread. I was shocked to know that down here, because we was on Eazy-E and them. We was on NWA.
Right, yeah.
But when I finally met Warren and I met Nate and I met Snoop, they was like, dude, we've been listening to this 415 record.
Right. And how long ago was that?
Man.
When they
I think that had to be, it was like right after, around the Def Jam, like 96, when I start actually, because once I got to Def Jam, I start being in places where other big rappers were at. You know, and at the 415 level, I wasn't, you know, we weren't privy to.
You didn't know the impact of 415?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't have a clue, bro. I mean, because like I said, we had an executive producer who was a D-boy in the street. He was putting up the money for the studio time. I was still in the studio grinding, riding around, and we was just making music. And we had no clue. Like I said, my goal was, our focus was Too Short.
Right.
Because he was running shit.
Yeah, man.
So he was like the guy that we were trying to catch up to. You feel me?
Right. And Too Short was like right there. You know how that sometimes when you're looking, you say, man, how do we get it out of here? Nobody paying attention. But you see Too Short.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then also, man, you also probably think like, damn, but everybody can't be short.
And what's crazy, like seeing Too Short back in the day was not something that was easy to do. I remember being in high school and I had a buddy named Keith and Kevin. And I think they were from like Brookfield. And Keith and Kev used to rap, but they knew Short. And we were in the 60 building in the hallway up at Skyline High, and they was like, we about to cut class. We going to the studio with Too Short. And it was like, like Michael Jordan or some shit. You know, Short was like that. You know what I mean? And he had these tapes that had so much profanity on them, dude. But if you could get your hands on one, it just made you like the dude. Like you could just be like, I got the Short tape. And they you know, it just made you famous because you couldn't get them.
His tapes made it down to us.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm talking about literally, and you know, Rich, man, it would be Short rapping on one side. You had to flip the tape over because he would rap the whole 30 minutes and flip it over, and Too Short rap the whole, the whole B-side.
Dude, Short used to, that's when he came with that terminology, I guess, don't stop rapping. Because like you said, Short had records that, like you said, 30 minutes long. The boy just going.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And he pioneered that sound for us. That heavy bass, that game, that pimp talk. And he was the guy that we was targeting. You know what I mean? Like, if we could get to where Short was at, we had made it. And if you think, he was still just selling shit out the trunk.
Yeah, man. You know? Did you ever have a conversation with either Warren, Snoop, or Nate about the impact of 415?
Okay, let me tell you how this happened. One day, I came to, they had a show, and Snoop was big. Like, they had this big, you know, they had the tour buses, and I think it was up at the, it was a summer jam up our way. I think it was at the Shoreline Amphitheater. So I made my way to the bus, and they was like, Snoop and them was in there, and I had met them before when I came down to L.A., they was like, they in the bus. So one of his homeboys brought me on the bus. And we got on the bus, and Snoop has a 415.
Man.
And I'm at that time, right? And I'm like, y'all on this, right? He's like, we on this. He's like, bro, I know the words to all this. And then Warren was like, dude, we used to stay on the block. Me, Snoop, Nate, we'd be slanging cavi, and we'd be knocking 415.
Hey, man, it's crazy. I literally just had an off-air, like a sit-down interview with Warren G, right?
Right.
And we start talking about 213.
Right.
And this is what Warren said.
And we fell in love with 415, which was Richie Rich and D-Loc. We fell in love with them. So we was like, damn, they calling themselves 415. That's representing the Bay. So we was like, let's call ourselves 2, representing Southern California. And that was L.A., Long Beach, Compton, Watts, you know, everywhere, Carson.
Hey, man, they could have called themselves anything. Right. Long Beach Boys, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And he was like, man, we were so on 415. So when you see the legendary 213,
right,
that came from them saying
415.
Yep.
And that tripped me out because we, like I said, we was listening to NWA. So I would think that's who they got their influence from.
Right.
But Snoop was like, no. He said, dude, he said, look at the movie The Wash. The movie The Wash. He said, what was my character's name? D-Loc.
Wow.
So D-Loc was my brother that rapped with me in 415. It was me, D-Loc, and DJ Duro. So I'm sitting here, and then we had that song called Snitches, and then Snoop had one called G's and Hustlers off the same beat. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. So,
oh my God,
so I'm saying to myself, and you gotta understand this, and I'm glad I'm here and I can say this on LA radio. Do you know how many times I looked and counted Snoop's pockets and was like, if I influenced you, why my bank account ain't going crazy?
Damn you, Snoop!
Man. But you know, that's how things go, man. So as long as steel is sharpening steel, you know, like to me, to this day, I talk to Snoop and I'd be like, bro, what you guys did with what you said we started you with is amazing. Snoop is hands down the largest hip hop artist ever.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Ever. So, it's just a blessing to know that, like I said, those tapes, we didn't have no distribution. That tape made it to L.A. in somebody's hand who came to Long Beach Poly or one of them schools. You know what I mean? And then what you call them? VIP was selling them.
Yeah.
Shout out VIP. VIP they were stocking our music too. But like I said, for me, I didn't see past Oakland. We needed to sew Oakland up, and that's all we was trying to do.
And you know what's wild when you say that, man? I remember, you know, you become such a block boy too. I remember, man, I went up to the Bay Area. I thought I was out of town.
Right.
Like, yeah, you know, we going out of town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like when you say, man, we we were just looking to lock up Oakland.
Right.
And locking up, like, oh man, that in a sense, that's like we made it.
Right.
Even when I talk with Kendrick, man, I remember Kendrick said, man, when I sold out the Roxy.
Right.
And now you think about the Roxy, and that's 500 capacity, but that was like, you get these goals.
Come on.
And so when we were holding 415 back in the day, and I remember one time, man, we were rolling up to the Bay Area, me and my homeboy Eric and one of my partners named Bear.
Right.
And you just had soundtracks. You know what I'm saying? You had and you enjoyed it, bro. And it wasn't like streams, and it wasn't a million artists. So what you loved, and you would hunt for it.
Right.
And then it was also the way people put you on it, like, man, you ain't heard this?
Right.
And that was the same thing when you say VIP, when you say like Rhodium swap meets. It was like there were places that we went to where it was like, man, and it was the same thing. You got this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Up our way, it was Leopold Records, Leopold in Berkeley. And I remember like New Music Tuesday when it was okay for people to be original. You might go up there on a Tuesday. You might pick up a 415 record, a X-Clan record, a Redman record. You could pick up variety before they start forcing everything to seem and sound the same.
Yeah, because now, and no disrespect to where the game is at, it is what it is.
Right.
But now it's like, I need a person that sounds like.
Right.
I need somebody that, this is what's going on, so we got to follow this.
Right.
But when I heard Public Enemy, I knew that was Public Enemy.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
LL, I knew that was LL.
Right.
If I heard Quik, his tone, if I heard Eazy-E, his tone, Ice-T, his tone, those were, even when you go down to Joeski Love and Pee Wee Dance, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was things that it was like, okay, everybody had like a lane.
Right.
Did you know at the time what you were building was gonna be legendary, or you just like
not at all
make it to the next one?
Not at all, dude. I was outside. I was making the music about the stuff that I saw, the cars that the OGs was driving, the game we was playing out there, moving and shaking.
Right.
And that was it. It was like I was just reporting my life. And I don't know if you remember, 415 had a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had got myself in some trouble, some legal trouble. And I just thought the group
just
was
real
blow
quick
up.
Go and you say, man, because at one point there is some kind of movement.
Right.
And then you have your situation.
Right.
Did you think like man, like, damn, this opportunity, either it's gone, I gotta go sit down, or
I blew it. I wrote a song about it called Half Thing. I figured I had blown it. And I figured they were gonna blow up without me. You know what I mean? I never knew that I was gonna be the one that stuck, because to me, D-Lo was a better MC than me in the 415 days. I mean, his raps was cold. So I didn't know, bro. It's crazy. And like they say, when you're doing something for the love,
right.
Back then, we weren't doing it for the money. We was just trying to represent. You feel me? And like when you talk about originality, it seems like it came to a point where the system realized that once you lose one of those key pieces, you know what I mean? You lose those fans too. You feel me?
Right.
So when you lose a has his own identity, his own voice, whether he stops making music, whether he gets murdered, whatever,
right.
He leaves a void in the market. And I think the labels start figuring out, let's make everything sound the same so we can just plug and play.
Right.
When one goes, we can slide
boom,
another
pop
one in.
this one up.
And all the fans who love that will love this. Because the first time I went to KMEL, and this is back when Franzen and Trace was up there, Chewy.
Yeah.
And I was sitting across from him just like I'm sitting right here. And he asked me, he said, can you do some drops for me? And I was like, what's a drop? He was like, I'll show you the thing. So they gave me this paper to read off of.
Right.
So I'm sitting here and I'm running through them, and I made a mistake. I was like, I can do it over again. He said, don't worry about it. He cut the little messed up parts out and played it back. I was like, whoa. So then I flipped the paper over, and it's a playlist that's saying which songs are going to come on at what time.
Right.
So
you didn't know none of that?
Dude, when I used to hear it say, yo, this is LL Cool J, man, and when I'm in this town, I listen to 106, I thought LL was up there. So we used to try to drive.
So you didn't know, like,
no
man,
clue.
we playing these back, or...
I asked Chewy, I said, Chewy, and this is a true
So
story.
you learning.
I'm learning. I asked Chewy, I said, Chewy, can I take this piece of paper? He said, yeah, you can have it. So I get in the car. So it's 2:30, and I'm looking at the piece of paper. At 2:45, they're going to play XYZ. So I called this little chick I know. I said, so I'm going to be the psychic on her. So I told her, I said, you listen to the radio? She said, yeah. I said, it's crazy. I said, I wish they'll play what you call them. And then it came on, right? She called right back. Hey, that song that you said, it's on. I said, no way. So then
No.
I whipped another one on her. I said, it'd be super dope if they played. She hit me back like, I mean, you're like a psychic. I mean, that one's on too. I said, let's see if I can go 3 for 3. But
You had the sheet.
dude, I had the sheet.
Man.
I used to think y'all could play what you wanted to.
No, it's programmed. Like
Come
our
on,
mix
bruh.
shows, we can. But even in the mix shows, it's like there's certain records you can play, and that's why you got to like when it comes to artists, you know. And there's some mix shows in some places where radio it's a little more okay. Yeah, we can get that in.
Right.
But that's why I tell people too. Like there's so many people, man, that's so passionate about their music. I don't mess with them. I don't play with them.
Right.
I'm like, man, I can't play that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like if I worked at Burger King or McDonald's.
Right.
I like mayo on my burger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I can't just say, oh man, I'm gonna squirt some mayo on yours. You know,
Right.
there's a way that they say, you put this here, then it's a patty, then it's a middle
I
bun.
used to work at McDonald's.
Yeah, so
Worked out
you,
the little squirters, yeah.
so you know it's like damn it's and you get some wiggle room.
Right.
But nah, bro.
You said a word just a minute ago. You said it's a program.
Yeah.
And everything, I'm realizing now, is a program.
Yeah. Crazy how you were learning, and that's really learning on the job and the naivete and the innocence of
Right.
it.
Paying attention.
Right.
And that's when I fell out of love with music.
Really?
And that's when my hiatus. Yeah, because I was like, okay, so once they told me I was going to make 6 cents per album, and then I had to recoup all the money that we spent on videos and all this. So they broke it down to like maybe $1 a record. So they would be like, if you sold 1 million copies, you make $1 million. Minus them 2 videos you shot for $250,000. Minus the rental cars we bought for you when y'all wanted to drive over here. Minus the hotel that you tow up.
And they
at
keep
the,
mighty
at the
receipts
Lamontros.
too.
Yeah. So I'm coming off the sidewalk where it's cash and carry.
Right.
You dig? I hand you something, you hand me something.
And
So-
I ain't even paying the tax man.
and
I'm not getting recoupable.
and I was good at it. So between learning that I was never gonna make no money, they was flying me all over the world. I was waking up. You're over here. I'm still asleep. I gotta look at newspapers to see where I'm at, like when I'm waking up. And then on top of that, it ain't really me. It's you. You making me hot. And then when Pac passed away and Shakur passed away, I said, man, I'm cool. I'm good on the music. So I went back to the independent market. And coming off of Def Jam, coming off that horse, getting back down to the independent level, there is a little bit of, a trickle effect but it was trickling down and down and down. It wasn't no more bus benches. Wasn't no more billboards.
Right.
And then we had to learn how to work the records.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't the machine. It's now the window crank. Not just the button.
Yeah, then we realized we have to spend money to make these records get some type of visibility, just like the labels do. It's not like you just add water, stir, and pop. You know what I mean? Because we started in an era where it was word of mouth, like you said.
Right.
Man, you up on this? And that was enough. But to cover a whole region, you're going to have to pay some bucks.
Yeah, man. And not including that and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was your relationship?
I met Tupac, dude, in Oakland. He was a young dude. I didn't know nothing about who he was or any of his music. We met up over some smoke. This chick I knew named Teresa introduced me to him. And he was he was still real black at that time. It was the Nefertiti piece. You know what I mean? Everything was like Black Power, Black Panther. It wasn't what it turned into when he got to death row. But he was a good kid, bro. He didn't care nothing about material stuff. I remember one time he had a manager, Gregory Atron, and Atron surprised him and bought him a Jeep, a brand new Jeep. Pac didn't know how to drive. And the apartment that Pac stayed at, the parking lot was behind the apartment. You had to come down a thin alley, the building and the fence to get out of there. So he called me like, I got a car. Come on, let's go get some blunts. So I said, where the car at? He said, it's in the back. I said, you know how to drive? He's like, no, but I ain't tripping. Come on. I said, you want me to pull it out? He like, no, I got it. No, he didn't have it.
Oh, Lord.
No, he didn't have it. Big boy, when I tell you, he came out of the parking stall and dragged the car all the way down the wall. The mirror on my side. Broke. I mean, brand new Jeep.
Oh,
This is
my
a true
God.
story. Dragged it all the way down this concrete wall to where we got on the street. And I told him, I said, bro, hop out and look at the truck. And he hopped out and he looked. He's like, let's go get some blunts. And he was serious. He was serious.
He wasn't tripping off the material side of it.
No, he wasn't into that, bro. It was funny. I remember I tried to get on him about jewelry. I was like, you need to buy a Rolex. He's like, I don't want no Rolex. I was like, well, that little jewelry that you wearing, like, bro, you should, because I had been there. You know, I came from an era of dudes, we was going to spend $10K on the Rollie. The Rollie was the thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pac, dude, he had a spirit that was cold because he was talented, but he was invisible to himself. You feel me? He didn't really care much about material stuff. And I had never been around nobody like that because I come from Oakland. That's all we was into.
Right.
Wires and Vogues. What kind of car do you got? What kind of shoes are you wearing? And he wasn't on that. And we never got around the music. We just hung out for a long time. And then I came to L.A., and we did that record, You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It, produced by Warren G. That's the first time I got in the studio with him and witnessed like his work ethic.
Right. What people would talk about.
Yeah, I mean, quick on the writing of the verses, go in there and lay it one take. I've even seen him make mistakes, like on an ad lib, and then he'll go in and ad lib over it and might say a different word the second time. I'll be like, dude, you said, so what? We on to the next one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's just be moving. You know what I mean? And then it started to progress. And then when he did All Eyes on Me, not All Eyes on Me, when he did Me Against the World, no, it was All Eyes on Me because he asked me to get on Me Against the World. And that's when we did Heavy in the Game. And then after that, when he did All Eyes on Me, he told me, he said, Rich, I wanna put some people from the Bay Area on my record. I was like, so he's living in LA at this time. I said, well, who do you want on the record? He said, just bring all your people. So I started making calls. I called 40, D-Shot, Bila, Sebo, Drew. I'm trying to just round up. I'm like, Pac wants y'all on the record. They like, let's get down there and get on it. And that's how all these people ended up on that record. But dude, it was like, I was always like his big homie. You feel me? Because he learned a lot from me and he had a lot of respect for me. But I felt like he was moving so fast, I couldn't keep up with him. Because I wasn't on Def Jam at the time. He was doing movies. I remember he was shooting Poetic Justice, and I flew down here and I hung out with him on the set. And I mean, it's like Janet Jackson is like where she's at, and I'm sitting here like, that's Janet over. That's Penny.
Yeah.
That's Penny over there,
And that's
right?
Michael Jackson's sister.
Yeah, that's Janet Jackson, and he ain't tripping, right? So he come out the trailer, and he's smoking a cigarette. I'm like, dude, you smoke cigarettes? He like, I said, dog, you smoke cigarettes? He said, nope. I said, you smoking a cigarette? He said, I'm not smoking a cigarette. I said, who's smoking a cigarette? He said, Lucky smoking a cigarette. My character smokes. And I said, huh?
Wow.
And he was in character. And I'm like, dude, it's crazy. Then the movie came out. Then them other movies came out. And I saw him on the big screen. I'm like, okay, dude, a little different. You feel me? Because you got to understand, I came up around a lot of talented dudes who knew how to pitch and sell work. I didn't come up around no dudes who was acting and you know what I mean? I mean, this dude was doing things that I hadn't seen before. I remember I met him in LA right off of Melrose at this, what's the name of that restaurant? We used to go there and get chicken marsala. And he told me, he said, this is a meeting. I said, what you mean? He said, I could write these meals off.
Yeah,
I get to
hell
keep
yeah.
these receipts.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said, this is a meeting. And I was like, what is you talking about? He said, I keep all my receipts and I could write this off. So that was really the first time I saw the business side of music outside of what Russell and Lior had turned me on to.
When you saw Pac smoke a cigarette and he said he don't smoke, it's Lucky, and he was in character, there's some people that say he never got out of Bishop character.
Right.
Do you see any reflection of that?
I see a lot of that. You know, Pac was a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a lot of things. And I think where they get him, where he's misunderstood is he just was a loyal dude. You know what I mean? And he was a loyal to a lot of people who didn't deserve that loyalty. So I hear some people talk about, oh, he wasn't like that. He was fake. He was this. He was a loyal dude. And I've seen him with people, and he'd be like, this is my brother. And he done just met dude 2 months ago in some other city, and he got him on the road with him. You know what I mean? He was just that kind of kid. And when he did the Bishop character, I can see where people get that from. Because I'm going to tell you, I saw changes in Pac. I remember I was down here one time, and we were smoking. And where I'm from, we say the word blood a lot. My brother and them used to say that.
Yeah.
So I was like, hand me the weed, blood. And he said, you might want to watch that B word. And I said, what, you banging? He was like, no, I'm just saying, you know. I said, dude, people know we from Oakland. They know we say that. But that was the first time I heard him. And I was like, okay, something is going on. You feel me? And I start paying attention to how he was moving. But at the same time, you got to look at it like this. I'm older than him. You feel me? I was giving him a whole bunch of game when we were in the Bay Area. But, I mean, he's skyrocketing on the music scene and the acting. So, to me, he's bigger than me. I used to call him, he was like my little big homie.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because he was younger than me, but he was doing so much more than me. You feel me? I remember one time Afeni, rest in peace, I came down here, and they had that spot up there off of Wilshire. He had an apartment up there, and he had that Thug Mansion lighted sign on the wall. And I was in there talking to Afeni, and she was like, I like it when you're here, because when you're here, he's my son. And I was like, wow. So what she meant by that is, I guess she could see him starting to move fast too. But when I was around, he kind of turned it down a little bit. You feel me?
Right.
I don't think he wanted me to see some of the stuff he was, absorbing.
Yeah, because I would travel with them. And, I bodyguarded the far side.
Okay.
So, at that time, it's like, the I get arounds and, you know what I'm saying? And everybody, and Pac was, he was wild, but I could see the intelligence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could see the intelligence. I could see the naivete.
Right.
I could see the humble.
Right.
And I could see, like there were just some things that I saw that, like, damn, that's not Pac.
Right.
Years later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Were you concerned about what you started to see with Pac?
I asked him not to sign to Death Row. We were writing letters back and forth. And he was like, I'm thinking about signing to Death Row. And I was like, dude, I don't think you need Death Row. Like right now, I think you larger than Death Row. Your album is out here killing it. Now, we're not talking on the phone. We're talking by letter. He writes me, then I write him back. Yeah, you wait. So he wrote me back, and he was like, well, Suge talking about coming to get me. He said, and Interscope ain't talking about coming to get me. So I wrote him back. I said, you know what? I feel that because I done been locked up before. And when you're locked up, all you want to do is get unlocked up. It don't matter how. Like, if you got somebody who can bail you out, cool. If you got, and he was saying that's what Suge was going to do. He was going to come get him out of there. So I told him I didn't think it was a good fit for him based on he just was already, like you say, he was his own thing, I hung out with him and Suge plenty of times. I never saw Suge was a cool dude. I mean, I've heard these stories, but whenever I was around, he was cool.
Yeah.
They was having money, spending money. We used to go up to what's that place that had them giant lobsters? Is it Monty's or something like that? He used to take us up there and eat. But I could see my man changing. But I wasn't reading into it like, okay, what's going on, as much as I was like, I can't keep up with him. You know what I mean? Because I had went to Def Jam and I was only there a year. Then I was off the label.
Gotcha.
And I couldn't keep up with him. But to me, he still was killing it in the space with the music, with the movies. And then I got around at a point, like when the shootings start happening, when he started getting shot in New York. And then I was like, come on, bro. Because I come from that. You know what I mean? Like when Pac, you might hear clips of him. He say, when I got to Oakland, that's when I learned the game. Okay. I gave him a lot of that. And some of his transition, I remember the first time he wanted to do a record with me. He was like, man, let's do some music. And I was like, man, you on that Black Power thing. I said, we on this gangster thing. So I don't know if some of that, set with him like, okay, because 415, you heard how we was popping.
Yeah, man.
You saw the album cover. We was talking that talk, and glorifying it, but also I was always trying to game people up on it. I don't know if some of that changed him. Like I said, Pac was a sponge, and he was a kid who came from nothing. Let him tell it. This is what he told me, that he came from nothing. So to get around all these people in these places, I think what happened with him and Suge was he finally had a big, tough set of, people that he could be around so he could just smash. I don't know. I just ain't never moved like that.
Right.
When I was on Def Jam, Leor and them used to try to stuff me in limousines to go to the House of Blues and perform. I'd be like, no, I'm going to ride my Harley. He's like, Richie, I need you in the car.
Right.
And I'd be like.
And you still ride?
Yeah, still ride to this day.
Right.
I was just, have you seen that Tupac bike I built? I was just on it the other day.
No.
Yeah, so I built a bike, and it's when he passed away, this is what I did. I turned all the interviews down. Everybody wanted to interview and holler at me about me and his relationship. And I turned all that down because it wasn't nobody's business. You know what I mean? But what I did do was I built that. And it's a Harley. And it's called Machiavelli.
Oh,
and it's got murals of Pac all over it. And I spent about $120 building that bike. You feel me?
You see that, Wacko?
I spent about
I get it in post, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send it to you, and then you can. But
Yeah.
I spent about $120K building that bike. And that's how I wanted to remember him. You know what I mean? Because I took him out the other day and turned some corners on him. And, I mean,
You ride that. I would see you ride Harley smooth, too, though, bro. The leg kick out, and I'm like, man.
Hey.
Dude, I got a 3-wheel scooter, Vespa.
Right.
Man, I'm on that like.
He said a 3-wheel scooter, a Vespa.
It's the 2 in the front. And you can tell I don't know how to ride, Rich.
Man, I started riding dirt bikes when I was a kid, man, and they just always stuck with me.
And you say your son ride now.
Yeah, he rides now.
He picked that up, huh?
Yeah, he picked that up. I mean, it's crazy how, like, what I'm trying to teach him is, dude, you are me. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, Dad, I caught a lizard. I said, I used to catch lizards.
Yeah.
Like, he really believes that he's not me. But I remember, I told him, I said, dude, I said, dude, I want, because he doesn't stay with me. He stays with his mom. And you know how the mamas, they don't want to let him go. Mm-hmm. All I'm trying to tell him is, bro, I'm just trying to show you how to work your jelly so you don't get into the things that I got into, because you're going to get into them.
Work your jelly so you don't get in the jam.
There you go.
Yeah.
But he don't want to listen. He think he know it all, bro.
Hey, man, my son, too, man. I tell my son, like, man, your dad used to play basketball. I stopped, Dad. You know what I'm saying? Right. My daughter danced her ass off, but I knew how to dance. Right. So when I tell her I knew how to dance, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like you say, you are me.
Son is he's half Filipino, so he's got this hair, right, and he loves his hair. So I'm trying to tell him about how he should cut his hair, and he's like, "How would you know anything about hair, Pop?"
Because you're bald
I've been
at
like
the
this
moment.
since
Right.
So he asked me when he was little. He's like, "How old were you when your hair left?" And I was like, "When my hair left." Yeah. I mean, it's just disrespectful.
Like you just woke up.
I told him, I said, I told you you're me, so enjoy that while you got it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, enjoy that. Yeah.
Take a lot of pictures, son. Take a lot of pictures, man.
Enjoy that. I told him, I said, you got me. I'm at my last hairstyle.
Right.
You know, this is it for me. You feel me? But I mean, it's working, you know?
You represented Oakland extremely well. And my thing is, man, what do y'all feel about the Raiders and now the Oakland A's out of Oakland? Are you still a Raiders fan? Are you still?
I'm a Raiders fan based on living there. I'm not a fan of the way the organization has been. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, now that they say Tom Brady is in the loop.
Right.
I don't think Tom is going to risk everything he's done to deal with that and not be able to turn it around. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, my city, dude, the downtown, they've misappropriated the funds. We had 4 major sports teams at one time, or at least 3. We had the Raiders, we had the A's, and the Golden State Warriors. And the city didn't have a mall, like a place for you to shop. And I'm like, how do we have 3 major sports teams and no mall?
Yeah, you released the crowd.
And like I told you, big boy, I'm a smart man, and I pay attention to stuff. I remember when the first bank on 73rd and Foothill packed up and left, but I didn't know I'm like, dang, the bank is gone. Well, if the bank is leaving, that should let you know something ain't right. So when the teams start leaving, I get it. Now, going up to Vegas, to me, I don't feel like that's I love Vegas, but you don't have a fan base.
Right.
So now you don't have the black hole. You have some fans in the stadium,
right.
But whichever team you playing got some fans in the stadium too.
Right.
I think that's going to be a big problem for the Raiders unless Tom can get them all the way together. But then, yeah, they packed up. Then the Warriors packed up, jumped across to San Francisco. Then now the A's going to Vegas, and Oakland is it's looking bad, bro. Damn. It's looking bad. But I'll be honest with you, big boy. I don't know. I came down here a year ago, and I brought my producer who produced this album. Shout out Jay Peasy, and I wanted to show him. Remembered, and I went down on Melrose.
Yeah,
and it was the Scooby-Doo motorhomes, just like in Oakland. I went down by Sporty LA. Then I said, okay, let's hit the Beverly Center. Because I used to hit Melrose, and it was all belly buttons.
Yeah,
it was lit,
yeah.
right? So then I went to the Beverly Center, and we used to pull in and go up through Macy's, and we walked through there, and it was like a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know LA ain't. I could see. I saw Oakland. I was like, I didn't know what was happening in LA, but it's happening
different,
everywhere.
Bro. Yeah, it's totally different, man. Like you'll walk through spots where it used to be, and it just ain't no more.
And it ain't no more. Got big budgets. Y'all teams are still on deck because there's money around here.
Oh, yeah.
With Oakland, I don't know, bro. I really don't. And then San Francisco took a hit. And Frisco used to be, we could hop to Frisco from Oakland in 15 minutes and do all the good big restaurants, big shopping. So once I saw Frisco take a hit, I said, man, it's apocalyptic around here.
Hey, man, well, if you see anything else, you being a smart man, let me know so I can get the hell out of here too. You know what I mean? I don't want to be on the Harley with you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, for real.
Hey, man, we had LaRussell in the neighborhood.
That's my brother.
Hey, man, and when he was like, man, how he was trying to, get the venues and somebody, kind of canceled out on him. And he was like, man, I didn't like the feeling of that, paraphrasing. So he started doing his shows in his backyard.
Right.
And I saw you go and you got down with LaRussell in the backyard.
Right.
And that's when I say, too, like, LaRussell's moving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then knowing your track record and seeing you in the backyard, I thought that was dope as hell until. Yeah.
So LaRussell, I posted a video. I was at the house and I had a song and I'm just kind of like recording myself spinning the song. And I posted it on Instagram. The song is called 615s. LaRussell DMs me and is like, Unc, you need to be over here rapping with us. And I was like, with us? So then I had heard about him, but I didn't really know his story. Yeah, so I went on his page and I'm like, whoa, this boy got like 700,000 followers.
Yeah, and 700,000 songs.
Right, yeah. So I DM'd him back. I'm like, what you talking about rapping with us? He said, you need to come to the backyard. I said, all right. So I went over there one time. He was over there rehearsing. So he said, you know the words to your records? I said, yeah. He said, can I pull you in? I said, for sure. So they just back there playing around. So he handed me a microphone, and he was like, that's what I ain't gonna do. So then I started doing the ain't gonna do song and blah, blah, blah. Then he told me, he got back at me a couple weeks later. He's like, man, I'm doing a show in the backyard, man. I'd love to have you come through. I was like, cool. That's all he told me. Let me tell you something about LaRussell. He is not the kind of guy who's gonna tell you what you need to expect. Like, he didn't tell me Juvenile was gonna be there.
Right.
None of that. He just like, man, just come through. We're gonna be in the backyard. So when I get to his house, I mean, the block is packed. There's a jumper in the front, and kids is in the jumper. I'm walking through the garage to holler at his mama because his mama's super cool. I'm hollering at mom and Tieta and them. And I look over, and Juvenile is like right there, like where your man is. And I'm like, that's Juvie, right? Now, I've always been a Juvenile fan. So Juvie was next up on the stage. So when I make it to the backyard, Juvie sitting down, he called Juvenile out. Talking about back that thing up. And then Juvie walks up and gets on stage and Juvie start cooking. Now, if you've ever seen a Juvenile show, you know Juvie sound just like the record.
Man. Don't we know it?
Just like the record. And those are the kind of artists I like. Snoop sounds just like the record on stage. I don't like the dudes who be yelling and don't sound nothing like the record.
Sound like what you sold me.
So Juvie is up there cooking. And I'm sitting over there like, ooh, I can't wait to get up there and cook, right? So LaRussell says, he gets the mic, Juvie walks and sits down. And then he's in songs, and then he say, what we doing? So I'm starting to make my way to the stage, right? Now, in this man's backyard, I tell this on every interview, there's an ethereal feeling, bro. It's almost like, I don't know, it's weird. It's just a weird energy back there, bro. It's like, it's just ethereal. That's the best way I can. It's almost like it's not really happening. Like it's like in slow motion. Like, so when I get on the stage, now, dude, I don't be doing. You ain't never seen me jump ever in your life, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like for real. And I get on stage, and Malachi is doing his verse, and he's jumping. So I get on the stage, and they hand me a mic, and I start shaking Mally's hand, so I start jumping. And, bro, I said it at Sway's. I felt like I was getting a lot higher than I was when I saw the video. When I saw the video, dude, I was only coming up like that high, bro. Right? So I'm jumping, and the way the stage is set up is people all around the stage. Malachi is like where you are, but most of the people are there. So I'm jumping, and my goal is to, when I come down, turn and start serving these people. Juvenile is behind me. And, man, when I came down, I just heard the lawn chair fall. Tap, 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 tap. And I went down. And I already knew exactly what it was because I blew the other one. And I'm like, what are the chances? Juvie is right here. I done wiped out. And they coming to pick me up. The rest of them coming. And I'm like, nope, this don't get up. You can't pick me up.
Yeah. There's no putting pressure on it.
I'm pointing at my knee. I'm like, look. And they like, whoa. So what happens is I tore my lower patella. For people who don't know what that is, your kneecap is held on by two tendons. The tendon from the bottom of your kneecap down to the shin is the lower patella. And then you got the one that pulls up into your thigh. So when you tear the lower one, it's like two rubber bands holding your kneecap together. Once this one tears, this one pulls up. So the kneecap goes up. So now you can see the shape of the bones. So that's why you could see that knee. It looked like a meteor hit my, because you're looking at my thigh bone and my shin bone. And the kneecap is up here in my thigh somewhere. So like I did this same injury like maybe 15 years ago. So I recognize what happened.
To the other leg?
Yeah, to the other leg. So when I went down, bro, it just, something else just took over. So I just snatched the mic and I started rapping. Because what else can I do? I'm on the ground. So I just started rapping, bro. And then I kind of started freestyling about what happened. And it was trippy to me because they start clapping. Like, I'm like, what we doing? Pulling off slow from the curb. I'm on the ground, knee blown out.
Yeah, man.
And they just start clapping, and I'm like, okay, it's good. So I just kept rocking. And, dude, my son was there with me, and he was filming. And I remember after I left, I got the video, and I sent it to my daughter. She lives in New York. And I said, Quayle, I said, it's over. She said, what you mean? I said, it's over. I said, I just fell in LaRussell's backyard. She said, no way. I said, way.
Yeah.
Right? She said, what happened? I said, jumping on stage, and my knee just gave out. I said, I got it on video. I said, they fixing to meme me out. I said, let me send it to you. She said, send it, Pop. So I sent her the video of me and my son. We driving home. And I'm driving. I drove myself home. Luckily, it was this leg. So she calls back in about 5 minutes, and she's like, Pop. She said, I don't think there's no way to make that look bad. She said, this is like flu game 6. Pop, like, what's going on with you? Like, who are you, bro? I'm like, what are you talking about? She like, I don't think you can make that look bad. And at the time, I'm on Instagram the whole time trying to see if anybody's posted it yet. And then I said, I'm going to just post it. I told my son, I'm getting ahead of this thing. Bam, and I just put it up there. I said, I'm a meet it head on before they start.
Hey
posting
man,
it.
I love how you brought up the age. I gotta lead this to them. And what was dope about it too was even when they was like picking you up to carry you out, you still busting.
Going.
Yeah.
Hey, but imagine if I just would have went down and right? Hey, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. You wouldn't have on that hoodie right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting in here.
Yeah, man. Richard wouldn't exist.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that moment, now that I look back at it, that was a moment that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, man.
So people could see me.
Yep.
And it reintroduced me into the game. And I tell Russell all the time, I'm forever indebted to you, bro. And he told me, he said, man, I hate that happened, but I'm glad it happened in my backyard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, when I saw it, but that's what's crazy too, because it did put you back in like a social media light. It was right. Like I didn't look at it. I didn't share like, man, oh, look at this dude, man. He went down.
Man, Ice-T.
Like you killed it.
Ice-T DM'd me on Instagram, said, show these youngsters how it's done.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I was getting hits from all over. They was like, bro, you different. I talked to Stack and Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
They like, Rich, we see that injury a lot on the court. The fact that you was able to keep rapping and then freestyle what actually happened into the bars, they're like, dude, you different.
All the smoke, huh?
You feel me? So when I look back at it now and I see, I wasn't, I wasn't jumping over an iPhone. Like I wasn't getting up that high.
Yeah.
So I'm saying,
you said in your head, you was like,
it was kangaroo-ish. It was like, off the rim.
Yeah, man.
Off a jump house.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Trampolinish. Yeah, it was trampolinish for sure.
Hey, man. And I love like even LaRussell, man, when they get down, I'm like,
now,
yeah, it's a different world.
I've been performing with him since then.
Yeah, man.
Everybody in the crowd be like, and I'll be up there doing it, and they start with that, and I'll be like, that's how they got me last time. I ain't doing it.
Nah, yeah, you're like, 2 feet on the ground. I'm planted.
When I come to the show, we step on the stage. I get my I tell my homeboy, you got the screw drill? He like, yeah. I said, come on over here. And I stand in one spot, and I said, crawl under the stage and screw into the bottom of my shoes. Lock me right
just
here.
Keep me, in case I feel an urge to do something.
Just lock me right here. You feel me?
Hey, man, why the album Richard? Why the title of the new album Richard?
You know what? It's trippy. I was trying to think of a title, right? And coming off a seasoned veteran, then I have the one called The Game, then I did The Grow Room. This record, I kind of wanted, I've been able to write from my heart more. You know, rap has always been a bravado sport. And Tina Davis used to tell me when I was on Def Jam, she said, I like the songs that you're submitting, but I'm not hearing what I hear when me and you are just hanging out. I want you to write that kind of stuff. People don't know that you're funny, that you got all this wisdom. Like I hear the bravado, but I don't hear what I see when we chilling. So on this record, my pen was able to open up a little bit more. And then I had issues in my city that I needed to address. So the Richard for me was like, okay, I'm stepping back into the music, and I'm just gonna give y'all all of me, not just the bravado side. I'm gonna give you the minister side because I got a lot of that. I'm gonna give you the comedian side because I got a bunch of that, and I'm just gonna let people see me for who I really am. Because for so long, I was just using one channel, because rap was a bravado sport. You got to get on there and you got to show how raw you are. You can't get Pac was one of the only artists who could do a Dear Mama or those kind of records, and people take that. I don't know if you remember that record I had, Do G's Get to Go to Heaven?
Yes.
I wrote that record, and Pac was alive, and he was asking me, he's like, I got to get on that. And I was like, I can't let you on this. He's like, what you mean you can't let me on this? I said, because people going to think you took me there. I said, people don't know. I can write. I have all those sides of me. And if he would have been on the record, it would have been like, oh, he's rapping like that because Pac is on the record.
Crazy that you had to wherewithal then.
Yeah, and I told him he couldn't get on the record, and he was hot about it. He was hot. He's like, I need on that. And I was like, no, because then they're going to think you took me there. Then he ended up passing away. And I remember Leor and them was like, maybe you can get Afeni to like say something at the top of the record. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna tell you why. I was raised by a woman who she poured a lot into me. You know what I mean? A lot of right. So even when I was out doing wrong, I was trying to do my wrong as right as possible. I had a buddy named Howard from Berkeley. We used to call him Bunny Man. Bunny bought a Rolex from me back in the 90s for 10 grand. He gave me $5,000 on the watch. He owed me $5,000. Bunny got killed in a barber shop about a month later. And one of his homeboys was like, did he ever pay you for the watch? I said, no. They was like, well, you can go ask his mama. His mama cool. I'm like, bro, I'm not finna go ask his mama for no $5,000 for the watch. I'm chalking that up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I just don't have it in me to be like, hey, you know, before Howard died, he owed me 5 bands. Like, I ain't that dude. You feel me? So I'm not gonna go ask Afeni. And I had this conversation with Lior. I was like, dude, our friendship is not based on record sales, bro. I'm not gonna exploit my man. My man just passed away. This was my friend, bro. I said, now, at the most, I'll dedicate the record to him. So I put that up on the top of the record. I dedicate this record to my man, Tupac. Rest in peace. It's all love. But I'm not going to go say, hey, Afeni, you think you could talk on her? But that's how sharkish the game was back then. And like I said, I love Lior. I don't have nothing bad to say about him. But Lior also told me that I need to get a sound to make. Like he said, you know how Master P goes, you need to get you a sound to make. That's when the music industry started following what was working in other places. Right. And I was like, dude, I'm not doing that. I'm not making no noise like that, bro. I do what I do. But that was the beginning of the copycat thing. Like, oh, this worked. They sold 10 million doing that.
Right.
Let's
you
do this.
You
need something like that. And that was the beginning of that.
Did you fall out of love with not hip hop, but the record?
Totally. And I'll be honest with you. I always made records. I never stopped recording. Right. And people used to be like, man, you need to put that out. I'd be playing stuff for my homies. They'd be like, so now you just make this stuff for you. You don't want to let nobody else hear it. So that's why I'm where I'm supposed to be musically, because I never stopped making music. But I fell out of love with music once I found out it didn't pay much. And then, like I said, when I lost Tupac, who to me, he just wanted to be special. You know, he laid it all on the line for the whole world, and he garnished a lot of love, but then he garnished a lot of hate too 30 years later. You know, and what trips me out about guys is, for one, I don't know who raised a lot of these people, but it's one thing to talk down on somebody. That's one thing. And some people may have some factual things they say about Tupac, but where they go out the door with it for me is Tupac is dead. Like, speaking on a dead man to me that's a foul play. I don't know who raised these people. We don't do that. Like, you don't speak on the dead. You know what I mean?
Like that.
Yeah, and so what I say to the people who do all that and who have those things to say, if you got artists, or if you are an artist, you got 100 million records to sell, bro. And if he wasn't everything y'all saying he wasn't, then y'all should try to be not something too. Right, yeah. Yeah, y'all should be whatever y'all ain't. Because the ain't sold 100 million. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that whatever he's not and whatever he wasn't sold 100 million. You feel me?
Yeah, hell yeah. 1 billion %.
So, and I get it, man. Like, when you're at the top, it's target practice. I get it. That's the world we live in. This is all your money you earned. But if I can beat you up in front of everybody, then everything that you've earned should be mine. That's how people think. But it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Just because you knock off the head dude, that don't mean you gonna garnish all his love that he had. But that's the way people play now.
Hey, man, as we sitting here, Too Short's brother was murdered, from what I understand.
Right.
Man, did you know
Wayne Loke? Yeah.
Damn.
What's cold that you say that. So Wayne Loke, good dude, bro. Super funny. I mean, just cool dude. It's a unfortunate situation. Something took place. He was somewhere, and they were trying to rob the place.
Yeah, man.
And they tried to back a truck up in there or something like that. And dude, it's I don't know what's going on with these kids, man. So they were coming to rob something. Now, like I told you about my son with the line, we used to steal. We used to steal decks out of cars. We used to steal hubcaps. But let the light come on in the window while we down on the ground, and pew, we out of there.
Right.
That's just how it was. These kids now come to take your stuff and will kill you for trying to hang on to whatever it is they taking. And that's what happened to Wayne. He was living inside a place that they were trying to come and rob. And, if you sleep, like I hear it happening like 6 a.m, and you hear a truck backing in through the, with everything that's going on, you fixing to come out and try to, you feel me, do your thing. And that's what I heard happen. I heard Wayne came out and he was standing on business, and the other kid, they start shooting back, and unfortunately, Wayne is out of here, Good dude, man. Super, super funny dude, man. Wayne got a lot of love, bro. And I talked to Short the morning it happened, and Short is Short is not a complex dude. He's a real easygoing dude. You met Short. Short's just real laid back, cool. I've never really seen him show much emotion, so I hit him up to check on him, and he's still even killed. But I did see a post that he put up today, and he was driving, and he had some tears running down his face. And I mean, it's just, man, we got to find a way to get away from that and get back to some type of love, dude. It's weird. I don't know if it's the video games, if it's the drugs. I don't know what it is, bro, but it's different outside, man. It's different out. These little kids right here, it's different outside.
Hell yeah, man. And it make you move different.
Oh, what?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad went to work, and when he came home, he was at the house. He wasn't 40 and 50 years old outside with his partners, And ain't nothing wrong with sitting down. Even though you remember the heydays, we used to be outside. It used to be good.
Yeah, man.
But it's dangerous outside, bro. It's dangerous outside. And these kids, they ending their own lives, bro. I always wonder, like, after a move like that, when you hear the news and you're the shooter, like, what is your mind state? Is it like, oh, they coming to get me, or you're just rolling up and it's just, let's go knock another one down?
Yeah.
Like, I always wonder that. What is the mind state of somebody who y'all was going to take something? And then I heard they didn't even get nothing, but you killed somebody.
Got nothing but the murder.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Man, let me tell you, bro, I'm so glad we had a chance to sit down, bro.
Come on, bro.
And we talked on this, we built this, you know what I'm saying? And even with the album, man, are you how does someone get the album? I know it's available on streams.
Right.
But are you controlling the destiny too? Because we were talking about like the Def Jams of the world.
Right.
And it was like, man, not that people don't want to be on it, but people don't want to be on these labels.
Right.
You don't have to be on these labels.
Right.
Because you can go right to the people that really have.
You can get direct to consumer.
Man, yeah.
So I released my album on a platform called Even.Biz. And that's where you bought the record.
Yes, sir.
La Russell turned me on to Even. Even is a platform where if you are a fan that doesn't have a problem supporting the artist, you can go there and buy the record. And it's a 3-tier system. You just, like, as an artist, I set my record up. The cheapest you can get the music for was $5. If you spend $25, you can get behind the paywall and see all the videos and exclusive content. So people would go to Even.Biz and buy the record.
Right.
It's everywhere, but it's just what it is. It's a stream. A stream is just a body of water that's just moving, and it's shallow. You can walk through a stream. You can't walk through the lake. You can't walk through the ocean. So for them to even call it a stream, they was letting you know what time it was. Yeah, it ain't but 2 feet of water, and it's moving. So you'll never be able to document how much money you're making. Can you go around it? No, not really, unless you're willing to do like La Russell and build your own infrastructure. But the average person is going to tap out way before they are willing to do the leg willing to do. So you can get my record. It's called Richard. It's available at Even.Biz if you want to pay for it. If you don't want to pay for it, you can stream it. My goal is, right now, what I'm really here to do is give people who are our age something they can listen to. I'm trying to get some younger fans too, because I got some game and some wisdom to help you stay alive first. That's all I'm trying to do, help you stay alive first.
And where do they find it again, Rich?
And they can find it on Even.Biz. That's EVEN.biz. They got an app on Instagram. You download the app. You can get the music from right there. And it's a beautiful platform, man.
Yeah,
and they picking up the phone when you call. Because like you said, right now, you can get direct to consumer.
Yeah,
You feel me?
You don't need the
You feel
machine. This is the machine.
Yeah, I mean, I hit you on Instagram and was like, bro, I need to come sit with you. And I'm in here.
Yeah.
You can get direct to consumer.
It ain't no
you hear me?
label reps.
Oh, no. No. Oh,
you
no.
like,
Yeah,
man.
John Stockton would have had to bring me up in here last
exactly.
time. You feel me?
And John, I saw him at a basketball game. I ain't trying to do none of that.
Hey, John was the man.
Yeah,
man. Shout
man.
out John Stock.
John Stock, love you, bro.
Jay Stock used to come get us, and it would be time to go to the House of Blues. The show started at midnight, and we'd be at the place. It'd be 1 o'clock.
What
Oh,
you
gotcha.
out?
We put his freestyle up there.
Oh, really? No, you think you are? Oh, man.
If you know me, never underestimate the OG. Slid through the block in the drop with the knock, told LR. I'm the cool nigga in the Kevlar. Known for the kiddos and still dropping bid-offs. Bust the game down like an 8 for blow. Rocked it up, blew my knee. Did you see that joke? I'm still flowing. Nigga, and I can't stand up. Niggas in the hood, call a doc man up. What we doing? Fucking with a nigga on stage. What we doing? Blew my knee, acting out my age. What we doing? I don't really even give a fuck. What we doing? I need some fucking help up. What we doing? Somebody run a
Hey,
cover
man,
up.
and
What
that
we
right there is when he went down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, like that. He's written.
Bro.
You would have thought like, hey, man, I'm going to get over here. I'm going to blow my knee out, but I got this verse already. You know what I'm saying? I got this.
Yeah, I got this. It was people who thought it was fake. Some people was like, man, that's fake. Dude didn't hurt himself. And I had one dude, he know me. He from Atlanta. He called me. He said, bro, I'm driving in the truck. You know, he drive 18-wheeler. He said, and I didn't have the volume up because I got to be paying attention to my radio. He said, but I'm looking. And he said, the way you went down, he's like, somebody done assassinated the bro.
Right, they got him.
Hey, he said, dude, I thought somebody had, he said, because you just whoop and was gone. He said, you went out of frame. I said, dude, it's trippy. When I look, I'll be honest with you, and I've watched that video probably 5 times. It's hard for me to look at.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, every time. Hey, because I was finna show Juvie how this thing go.
Oh, man.
Hey, I wanted to show Juvie how this
But
thing
you
go,
did.
bro. Hey,
Back
But-
then.
hey, back that knee up for real.
Hey, man,
Hey, and
but
Ju-
even when you said man up, I'm like, damn.
Bruh. Dude, I'm just so
My man said
glad.
acting out
I'm
my
just so
age.
glad. That's what I said. What I'm doing, blew my knee, but fuck around on stage. What we doing? Blew my knee, acting out my age. Like, who has the wherewithal to
Yeah,
say
man.
that? That comes from my freestyle background, though. You know, and that's what I was doing, jumping, acting out my age, bro. I'm cool, bro. I'm calm. I'm collective. You know, like you said, I just play my instrument, dude. I
Yeah.
don't dance. I don't do all that.
Right, man. We
But,
know
bruh,
now.
bruh, it was crazy though.
Hey, man. Richie Rich, thank you for coming
you,
into the
man.
neighborhood,
Come on,
my
man.
brother. How do they find you on social media as well?
You can find me at Richie Rich. It's THAREALRICHIERICH. So that's The Real Richie Rich, and it's spelled with an A. I'm also selling merch. I
Yes,
got
sir.
stuff. If you want to spend some money with me, if you want to get one of those nice hoodies,
the hoodie's
on
turn
now.
around and let them see what it say
Come
on the
on,
back.
bro.
Hoodie look dope.
Look what it say on the back, man. Hug the loved ones and kiss the babies, man.
Yeah,
That's what we
man.
need more of, man. Got to hug the loved ones and kiss the babies. You can find my merch at www.doubleworldwide.com. Double has always been spelled D-U-B-B-L-E, like bubble gum. People be hitting me with that double, that D-O-U-B. It ain't that.
Double up.
Yeah, so it's www.dubble worldwide.com. You can grab some merch. I'm on Instagram under The Real Richie Rich. I'm on The Real Richie Rich for my Facebook. Also on Twitter is all The Real Richie Rich. Come tap in with me, man.
As we should.
I'm still around here. You know what I'm
Hello.
talking about? Hey, it's the 30-year cycle, man. Just like the clothes is back baggy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rap is back real again. You hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, let's talk
Richie
about it.
Rich in the neighborhood, y'all. Big Boy's neighborhood.